This is a podcast called The Plight of Transmigrant Children and Their Families. The name of the interviewees are Mr. and Mrs. Marco and Susana's Pazman. Introduction to our podcast. I met up with Mr. and Mrs. Pazman at Luby's in Harlingen, where we had agreed to meet. I introduced myself in person. We had already spoken over the phone, and I told them about my school project. They were both impressed with the project and willingly helped and answered my questions. The following is a summary of our conversation.
Well, hello. Yeah, we became foster parents approximately about 6 years ago with an agency that worked with children from Central and South America. At first, we were a little apprehensive about taking on this responsibility and working with children from third world countries. After some soul searching, my wife and I, we took the plunge and we did not look back. Our first set of children, they were 4, I remember, were brought to us while attending a church kermesse, or a fall festival. The children were small, they were very malnourished, they looked scared, and all were young. I remember, I think they were like 4 and 6 years old. One child was from Honduras, one was from El Salvador, and 2 were from Guatemala. After a short introduction, they were left in our care, and this is where we started this adventure. We walked with the strange children holding their hands. I had 2 and Susana had the other 2. We bought some food, some drinks, some snacks. They just gobbled them down. We found out later one child ate a little and put his cookies in his pant pockets. When we got home, we asked this one child why. It took a while, I guess he was scared, to answer. But when he did, we learned that this is because, they didn't know whether there was going to be any food tomorrow or the day after. The children live in a reality on a daily basis in their own home countries. They have told us how it all happened for them.
Well, sharing more with what my husband has shared, days have passed and then weeks. We've learned from these children as much as they learn from us. They come from homes where there is so much gang violence. Mareros, salvatruchas, La 18 y los panderos. Those are some of the gangs that I hear them talk about. That it was either join the gangs or run away from home. One child told us that he actually saw his mother murdered in front of him as he lay hiding in a closet. The same closet his mother had just hid him a little bit before the gang members had attacked him. The gang members who had been chasing them broke into their home. Once one child shared their struggles, the other children would open up with their stories and experiences. We in the United States and in our lifetime, we will never experience what these children have experienced in their short lifetime.
Yeah, really. Did you know before they could come to the U.S., their parents had to just go through a tremendous financial hardship? Most of their parents were very poor. Most of their parents had to sell all of their land or their livestock or farm equipment so they can get the resources needed to pay for their children to come to the U.S. They have to contract a coyote or a smuggler who is usually known in their village, negotiate a price and agree for his or their term, whatever the case may be. Then hand their child to this person who may or may not take advantage of the child, go through miles and miles of walking, hiding in the brush, and get bitten by mosquitoes, ants, fleas, ticks, or other animals. Poor oral and physical hygiene, little to no food, and other things, we will never be exposed to. When they finally do make it over the Rio Grande River, whether it's through wading across it or on a raft or a rubber tire or even on someone's back, their journey is far from over. If they are lucky, they will be stopped and detained by Border Patrol. If they are not lucky to be caught, their journey has now become more dangerous. These children never avoid, the Border Patrol or other law enforcement. They try to cross the desert through large thickets, angry ranchers and landowners, vicious dogs, and the general public at large. If they are lucky, they'll make it all the way to their final destination. For those who avoided law enforcement but didn't make it, it's because they got hurt or got sick, got left behind by the coyote, and ended up dying alone in the desert.
These children, almost 200 of them who have been in our home, and most of them getting united with their parents who already live in the United States, or family members or friends, came with little to no social skills. We have had to teach them how to use the bathroom, how to take a shower, how to brush their teeth, how to comb their hair, to sleep on a bed. Most of them wanted to sleep on the floor. How to wear clean clothing, eat their food and not hide it for later, how to act socially with our own family members and friends, how to behave in a movie theater or at a restaurant, how to pray and sit quietly at church. All of these things that all of us take for granted is all a mystery to them. It takes time to teach the skills, but when they do become comfortable with us and start learning from us, they are most fun, joyful, and little children you can have in our lives. And we're blessed beyond measures to be part of this process.
As mentioned in the opening of this interview, Mr. and Mrs. Pazman have been foster parents for the past 6 years. When their home became empty during the time of their 2 biological sons were in college, they met with their 2 boys and asked them if it would be okay for them to be foster parents and take care of estranged children in their home. After some discussion, it was agreed, and this is when they took the leap of faith and began their journey of hope, love for these exceptional children. P.S. Follow-up for the listener. The Pazman also said that some of those children who have been deported back to their home countries due to technicalities or other factors, these children whose parents sold everything will again be returning to the violence and now more poverty that has already experienced in their lives. And that'll conclude the podcast of transmigrant children and their families. Thank you for listening with me today.